In the day's other headlines, President Trump signed a series of executive orders this morning, including one aimed at punishing anyone who burns the American flag.
The people in this country don't want to see our American flag burned and spit on.
The president said that flag burning incites riots and that those who do so would face a year in jail. A 1989 Supreme Court ruling found that flag burning is protected under the First Amendment. Trump also signed an order aimed at eliminating cashless bail. That's the practice of releasing criminal suspects without a monetary payment. Also today,
well, thank you very much. It's an honor to be with you.
The president welcomed South Korea's President Lee Jae-myung to the White House. The pair were due to discuss trade, relations with China, and the status of American troops in South Korea. During the meeting, Trump spoke of his warm relationship with North Korean dictator Kim Jong-un, saying he looks forward to meeting him again, as he did in his first term, adding that North Korea has, quote, great potential. The House Oversight Committee subpoenaed the estate of the late Jeffrey Epstein today. The panel, led by Republican Chair James Comer, is seeking documents like Epstein's will and anything resembling a, quote, list of clients. They're also seeking a book of letters, reportedly compiled by his former partner, Ghislaine Maxwell, that was given to Epstein for his 50th birthday. It's the latest in a broader bipartisan effort to address public calls for more information about the handling of Epstein's case. His estate's attorneys have until September 8th to respond. In the Pacific Northwest, a dangerous heat wave is refusing to let up after residents endured triple-digit temperatures in some places over the weekend. Various heat advisories are in place today in parts of Washington, Oregon, and Northern California. Dry conditions paired with lightning and heavy winds prompted red flag warnings for wildfires across the Cascades. Blazes burned through the weekend, especially in central Oregon, where the so-called flat fire has scorched some 29 square miles and some 4,000 homes remain under evacuation orders. In the meantime, severe weather is brewing offshore, too. Tropical storm Juliet formed in the Pacific today, while tropical storm Fernand churns in the Atlantic. Officials say neither storm poses an immediate threat to the coastlines. Nearly 200 current and former FEMA employees are warning that changes by the Trump administration could result in a Hurricane Katrina-level disaster. In a letter to Congress, they warn of the, quote, cascading effects of the government's actions on FEMA, which include deep cuts and a controversial new expenditure approval policy. They write that they hope to, quote, prevent not only another national catastrophe like Hurricane Katrina, but the effective dissolution of FEMA itself. 20 years ago this week, Katrina slammed into the U.S. Gulf Coast, killing more than 1,800 people due in part to a poor federal response. Several global mail carriers suspended deliveries to the U.S. today amid confusion over new import duties. France, Japan, and Taiwan joined countries like Germany and Spain in halting shipments to the U.S. over the Trump administration's upcoming expiration of what's called the de minimis exemption. The policy allows packages worth less than $800 into the U.S. duty-free. Customs data shows that roughly 1.3 billion packages were sent under the exemption last year. That amounted to more than $64 billion worth of goods. The UK's Royal Mail is set to suspend its services to the U.S. tomorrow. On Wall Street today, stocks cooled off a bit after last week's rally. The Dow Jones Industrial Average fell roughly 350 points. The Nasdaq slipped nearly 50 points on the day, and the S&P 500 also ended lower. And Netflix reportedly scored its first box office win this weekend thanks to a trio of demon-hunting pop stars. K-pop Demon Hunters took in an estimated $18 million in the U.S. and Canada, more than any other film, thanks to catchy tracks like Golden. That is according to industry estimates, since Netflix doesn't report its ticket sales. The limited theatrical release of the sing-along version of the film comes 2 months after it began streaming, and since then, it has dominated the streaming charts. Still to come on the NewsHour. Israeli forces strike another hospital in Gaza, killing several journalists. Tamara Keith and Amy Walter break down the latest political headlines. And how investments in artificial intelligence are playing an outsized role in the nation's economic growth.
This is the PBS NewsHour from the David M. Rubenstein Studio at WETA in Washington, and in the West from the Walter Cronkite School of Journalism at Arizona State University.